We're now at the Royal Talens Experience Center in Apeldoorn. Let's take a look. When you enter, you find yourself in this big room where you can have a coffee and wait for a tour to start. We will later come back here to play around with different art supplies. As you can see, it's a massive space filled with drawing and painting materials. It's truly like a candy shop for artists. You just can't wait to get your hands on all this treasure. Royal Talens includes a few different brands that you might know. I think Van Gogh and Rembrandt paints are the best known. Bruinzeel is very popular in the Netherlands, and Sakura and Cobra are also names you might know. Here, our guide Martine tells us about all these brands and product ranges. We'll also learn about the history of these brands and how they all became part of Talens. This is a box with limited edition paints produced in 1899. Any idea what it cost? The box cost 2,500 euros. Not expensive, right? I mean, it's a limited edition and it's from 1899. Anyway, I don't think you would use these paints for painting. I'm really wondering if they still work at all. Here we see some paintings, they hanging all around the building, and they all made with Talens products. There are also a few historical displays with art supplies from different times. Here, for example, is Ecoline. I thought it was a new product, but it turns out it's been around for a long time. From 1930 already. It's so cool to see all these bottles and containers. And I've learned an interesting fact about them. During the war there was a shortage of containers for ink, and the factory asked the local people to bring in any kind of glass bottles to help them. And someone brought these 2 wine bottles they still have here in the collection. Okay, so here we are at the entrance to the factory, and they do not allow filming there unfortunately, so you have to come and see it for yourselves. And believe me, it's really cool to see how they make different kinds of paints and get them in tubes and pens. One funny fact about pens, by the way, and I hope I remember it right. The old machine that produced Cotman paints for pens was initially used in a candy factory to make famous Dutch candies. Hopjes. If you know hopjes, you know that they have the same shape as the paint and pens. This is the only thing we were allowed to film. This is ultramarine blue. And isn't it beautiful? I love it. After a lunch of some delicious vegan sandwiches, we proceeded to test the art supplies. There were many drawers filled with different art materials. You could just open them and test whatever you wanted. Paints, acrylic inks, Ecoline in little jars. I've never tried Ecoline from jars, by the way. I only have Ecoline markers, and I love them so much for their amazing bright colors. Oh, and look at this! Even more colors! So cool! Let's take a look at the next drawer. Here is some gouache pots, but I'm not sure how to use it. I prefer gouache tubes. I did get one pot of gouache like that in a goodie bag, and I will try it later and let you know. Next one. Let me see, here are some Rembrandt paints. Rembrandt is a premium range watercolor, a really good quality. And here are Van Gogh watercolors. Van Gogh is somewhere in between professional and student grade quality. It's such a joy to open a drawer filled with watercolor tubes, to take any paint you want and try it. Next one, here we've got something called porcelain. It's a paint you would use for glass and ceramics, I guess. I've never used it, but I would be very curious to try. Not this time though. There is a lot of acrylic paints, but again, it's not something I normally use, but they make up an important part of Royal Talens products. Here are all kinds of brushes to test the paints. And here is our group, testing, painting and playing around with paints. This black piece of paper is mine. I wanted to test the fine attack metallic watercolors. I love them and I use them already, but I wanted to see how they would work on black. And I only have golden colors, not the other ones. So I was very excited to try them out. And these are really good quality paints, but the result depends on each particular color you use. And as you can see, you need to use a thick layer to really see the metallic effect. Or paint it twice. And of course, there is some greenery, my favorite. Mixing different yellows and blues. I was trying out the colors that I do not have yet. And as you can see, some mixes of yellow and blue do not make very pretty greens. So you have to test and experiment a lot to find combinations that work. And it's such a great opportunity to do it here in the Experience Center. I really like their indigo color. I do not normally use it, but it's similar to Payne's gray that I use instead of black. And I think I will buy a tube sometime soon. Here are some other participants' experiments. It all looks very colorful and a lot of fun. Some people just played with paints, some others actually created complete artwork they could take home. Here are the metallic paints again. You can see that they are very rich and truly beautiful. That's Fine Attack once again. I highly recommend it. There are also fine liners. I have a set of these Pigma fine liners and I use it a lot. Okay, that was a lovely day at the Royal Talens Experience Center. Many thanks to Martina and Rosanna for a very interesting tour, a great lunch with vegan options, and for answering all our questions. And you guys, if you're in the Netherlands, visit this amazing place to discover how your paints are made. I hope you enjoyed my impression of the tour. See you next week.